welcome to Lauren's Take on the last day of 2021.
Oh my gosh, can't believe it.
I know, guys, it's Amber. You know, she's here churning up with me.
Back at it again.
Yes, we're back at it again with another video. Hey, we are back with another video for you guys today. We are going to be reviewing the most awaited film of 2021, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yes.
We are so excited. We've seen it twice by this point. Be spoilers because it's kind of hard to do like a full, review. We're going to try to keep this short. I'm going to try to keep us on task.
We always say that, but
I'm really going to try because I don't like making videos. It's a lot to edit. So yeah. But before we do that, make sure to subscribe to Lauren's Take if you're not subscribed already, and let's get into it. Okay, so let's get into it.
Yes.
We're going to kind of give a very quick synopsis and then kind of go into how well did they successfully execute.
I mean, I feel like they already know.
Yeah, the main gist is, if you've seen Far From Home, you know that it ended with Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio, revealing Spider-Man's identity as Peter Parker. And, it really ended with Peter saying, "What the?" Because he was like, "No." And we were all like, like it was a lot of emotions. But the movie basically just started right from there. So majority of it is Peter trying to fix this big problem.
Yep.
Yeah,
basically.
And
No Way Home literally picks up right after Far From Home left off, like literally the same exact scene. So that's what I really liked about it in the beginning, is that it didn't, like, no time passed. Like, this was exactly where it left off. So in the beginning, you definitely see Peter and, like, his identity being revealed. So everyone's like, "You're Peter Parker, you're Peter Parker." And he's like, "You're just a kid." And then, like, MJ is there. So then he's trying to, like, defend her from, like, all the crazy people. And then they ended up webbing away. So that was basically, like, the first minute.
So we're not going to do minute by minute.
No, I'm not doing minute by minute. But, I mean, that's still part of the synopsis. Like, this is the aftermath of Far From Home, so it's picking up there.
Yeah, and basically, like, this whole situation, it's the frustrating thing is, it wouldn't be such a bad thing if they, in my opinion, it wouldn't be such a bad thing if they knew that Peter was Spider-Man. It's the problem that Mysterio's dead and he's trying to act like Peter killed him. So that's the biggest thing. So they're like, "Did you kill Mysterio?" And he's like, "Wait, no, I didn't. He died on his own." Like, no, that wasn't me. He was trying to kill me. But because Beck was able to manipulate all the Stark, technology in order to put him in that situation, it seemed that Peter was in that situation. So basically, Peter's trying to tell everyone, "No, I didn't kill Mysterio, and no, leave me alone. I'm not a bad person."
And that's only in, like, the first 20 minutes. Like, after that, spoiler, after Matt Murdock comes, or Daredevil, basically says, "Yo, you no longer have a case against you, but there's still the court of public opinion." And that's when the brick comes in and everything. So basically, that's just left open. Like, yes, everyone knows that he's not guilty, but there's still people, obviously, who believe Mysterio versus Peter, Spider-Man. Right. So after that happens, there's no more really talk about that. You start to focus more so on Peter, MJ, and Ned, and MIT.
Well, it's like the court of public opinion is affecting everything. So them applying to colleges, that's like the biggest thing. It's causing them to not be able to go to school simply because of the controversy. And there's this like really iconic, this really funny line but really sad line that Ned says, because unfortunately MIT, which is the school that they all wanted to go to, and they were going to go together, planning on going together, they didn't get in. And it was because of everything. And Flash comes in and he gets into MIT. And he's like, "Wait, y'all didn't get into it?" And Ned is like, "Yeah, because we're actually friends with Spider-Man." Because Flash, of course, wanted to pretend that he was friends with Spider-Man. So I think that part was really sad. And that's when we really get into the main thing, which is Peter like, no, now Ned and MJ are implicated. We're not going to let this happen. Okay, so initial reactions to the film.
Initial reaction. I was very sad after the end of the first time I saw it. I think I knew I loved the movie, but I was just so upset with how it ended. So I was like, I don't know. I mean, like, I could admit that it was my favorite Spider-Man movie, but I was like, I don't know if it's my favorite Marvel movie yet. I don't know about this. And I was just, like, really upset with that ending, but I was like, it was also so good, so how can it cause me pain and joy at the same time? So, like, it's definitely one of those movies, but after a couple days, I was all ready to see it again.
Right. I think that's very true. After I finished, I was just so, like, I said they did it. They did it. You know, the biggest thing when Amber and I both went into it, like, we were so excited to see this movie. Spider-Man is, like, our favorite superhero. Or at least mine. I love Spider-Man. And so, you know, we both have been watching theories. We have been watching everything. I wish I hadn't watched as many theories after watching it. Because there were a lot of things that many fans were saying that's going to probably happen. And we were even saying was going to probably happen. And I wish we kind of would have. It did. And I think if we hadn't done that, then maybe the movie would have been more of a surprise. I mean, of course, how things happen and where they were put, that was different. But, like, we were able to figure out so many, like, main things. And I was just like, darn it, fandom, we inquire way too much.
Yeah. I feel like if I didn't have any social media and I just, like, watched the teasers or the trailers, I probably would have been able to get through it, like, a lot easier, and I probably would have been more shocked with what was happening in the movie. But a lot of it, I was happy that it did happen, but I was also like, okay, I thought this was going to happen.
So it was like, we're surprised but not surprised, and I think that kind of took away from it, and, but not that the movie was worse off or bad off. It was just like, I wish I hadn't
But I feel like if we didn't do as much investigating, then we probably would have been confused. A little more confused.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I feel like if I didn't know everything that I knew, I probably would have been like, oh, they're, like, all coming. So, like, yeah.
Yeah, I think I would have enjoyed moments more. Not that I didn't. It's like, because I still was screaming at certain parts. But it was still, like, darn it, y'all. Like, by the end of the movie, I said, I just wish we hadn't spoiled so much for ourselves, even without knowing what actually is going to happen. Like, we figured out so much. So I think that took away from, like, my initial watching it. But even though when I watched it the second time, I was just as obsessed, just as intrigued.
After the second time I watched it, I was like, oh yeah, this is my favorite Marvel movie of all time. Because I think the second time around, I was able to just sit and reel it in, and I was like, I know it was about to happen, but everything made sense. Like, I was literally looking for any, like, or anything like that, but honestly, I couldn't even find anything. It was enjoyable from beginning to end. I never got bored. I never got sleepy. So I think that's the good thing about this movie. And
I would say our dad, he saw it with us when we were seeing it the second time. He didn't go with us the first time, but the second time, and he himself was even like, well, dang, this is at least the best Spider-Man movie. And that's huge for him to say, because he's an OG Tobey Maguire lover. So, you know, like, the fact that he was like, okay, Tom Holland, he did a good job.
Seriously now, because at first he thought he was just like a kiddie Spider-Man, like too cartoonish. But now,
cartoonish?
Yeah, because he was like, oh no, that's not the real Spider-Man, and I was like, what? But yeah, I think he definitely took him seriously now, and I think one of the main reasons because of that is the fight sequences with Spider-Man and Green Goblin, because y'all, Green Goblin did not come to play. Like, I don't know what he ate that morning, but, like, he came and his job was to torment Peter the entire film. Like, I was just like, oh. Because I thought maybe he would still have kind of, like, that rivalry with Tobey's Spider-Man, but no. He really, really went in on Tom's Spider-Man. So I found that really interesting, and then we got to see a whole different side of Peter every time he fought him. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, every time they would be fighting or talking, I would just be speechless. So, like, the acting.
Tom Holland, sir, you nailed that. He ate that role.
And Willem Dafoe.
Well, I mean, he's the OG villain, Spider-Man villain for the films, you know. So, like, of course. But, like, there were so many moments, and when I was watching it the second time, I felt like I could appreciate it more, because I was just like, oh my gosh, he is horrible. Like, Green Goblin is horrible. And it helped that we had just watched the first Spider-Man. So we were, like, kind of already having that idea. Like, he was bad then, but Willem Dafoe really didn't come to play. Mm-hmm. He was like, okay, I'm gonna come here.
I gotta come back strong.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he came back strong.
And I love that. And I felt like that with all the villains.
Yeah.
They all brought it. I loved Electro. I loved Doc Ock. I mean, Doc Ock, you know, he was like, I always liked Doc Ock when I was little, and, you know, just seeing that back, you know, seeing him back in the film was awesome. But Jamie Foxx nailed Electro. It was intense some moments that he would have. He was like, you know.
Yeah, A++ on that part.
Yeah, the lizard just kept cracking me up, though. I could not stop laughing.
You know how easy your life would be.
You're like, what, you're going to turn me?
You want to turn me into a lizard? Exactly.
Like, Amber and I were crying laughing the second time watching it, because it was just funny. But it was, you know, I love the villains. The villains, they really brought it, and it was so...
Now let's talk about our memorable moments. I feel like the most memorable moments kind of wrap up into the whole review.
Yeah.
So, like, I think a couple of my most memorable moments is the one where it was the fight scene between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Like, that was so cool. Like, it was two Avengers going against each other, and, like, I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know who's going to win.
And the underdog won.
Yeah, and the underdog won. Spider-Man won. And, you know what's cooler than magic? Math. And I was like, oh. And
like little like, oh, Tom, okay.
Yeah, when he started figuring out that thing in the math, what was it? Like the dimension. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh my gosh, this is just geometry. And I was like, oh. And so,
I said, see, look how smart he is.
Yeah. Who is
Love
the
that
smarter?
Peter. You know.
Yeah, so that was a memorable moment. The second memorable moment, I guess it would be Toby and Andrew's entrance into the movie. I think that it was a perfect blend of, like, nostalgic mixed with humor, mixed with excitement, and just, like, that span of, like, 5 minutes. Because it's not a long scene, but they were able to compact it with, you know, getting the emotions of the original, like, of Andrew Spider-Man and Toby Spider-Man, and, like, those two coming together and what that looks like with MJ and Ned and his grandma. Was it his grandma?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was so cute. So that they did really good with that, because I was really wondering how they were going to bring them in, but I felt like it flowed so well, because it was on accident, essentially. Like, they were looking for Tom's Peter, but they ended up finding them. So that was symbolic, you know, and I enjoyed that. That was good.
I 100% agree with both of those moments. Those are definitely extremely profound moments. I would also say the final fight, well, both fights with Green Goblin with Peter, the one, unfortunately, where Aunt May died.
R.I.P.
That, like, really broke my heart. I cried both times, because it's so sad, because, like, he had been trying to protect May, and how she was really trying to, like, she was good for a set, and then she just, like, lost her footing, and I was like, oh my god,
they did that so wrong, because I was like, okay, well, maybe she's gonna be okay, like, maybe he's just gonna probably, like, leave her there, but she'll be fine, like, Happy will come, and they'll be happy, but nope, and Happy came right when she was Amber. And then the part that made me start crying was that Peter was like, it's just me and you, and that's what May had said to Peter in Homecoming, when she was, like, wondering what was going on, because this is when Tony, like, took his suit away, and she was like, it's just me and you. And I was just like, no, because I was just having, like, a montage of her throughout the movies, and that's when I started to cry.
And it was so heartbreaking. Like, Amber and I kind of knew it was either going to have to be Aunt May or Happy who were going to die. Because, you know, they have to do that. Spider-Man always has to have that one, like, really horrible death that's going to cause him to really test the limits. You know, and it was Aunt May.
And when it was happening, I was like, Lord, I take back what I said. I don't mean it. I know.
Like, we were like, no, we didn't want to happen.
I did the same thing with my friend when watching Endgame. We were like, oh yeah, Iron Man's gonna die. Iron Man's just gonna have to die. And like when it happened, I was like, no, I take it back. But yeah, so it was sad.
It was very, very, very sad. So that moment, it's really sticks out to me, and it's so hard because she was just smiling. She's like, no, I'm okay, and then he's like, no, man, no, you're not. And because Tom was breaking my heart there.
And then when she said, with great power comes great responsibility, I was like, wait, why is she throwing this out now?
No.
Like, I feel like with moments like that, and moments with Toby and Andrew coming in, and with them, well, I'm kind of skipping to the end, with them forgetting Peter.
No, that was going to be my moment.
I'm sorry, but I'm just going to say this. It was the end, but it also felt like a beginning in the same way. So, like, I think that's why No Way Home, it just knocked it out of the park, because it was able to wrap it all up and tie it into a new beginning, but also wrapping up the end of the trilogy, but also starting something.
Ew!
I took the words out of your mouth.
Uh-huh. No.
You wanted to be cool and say it. I'm kidding.
The second fight scene with Peter and Green Goblin, he had lost May. He had defeated all the other villains. He was not in the mood to be nice or the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah, because he was also mad with the mix of Goblin pushing him away from saving MJ.
Oh, right. Like, Peter won.
Yeah.
Lost it. He was like,
First you tried to first you killed my aunt, and now you tried to kill my girlfriend.
Like,
no. You gotta pay, sir.
You gotta pay. You gotta pay. And then I think what was so heartbreaking is when you see how he's just like losing it, and then you see MJ and Ned in the back, and they're just like, no, Peter, mm-hmm. And then seeing Peter 2 and 3 over here, like, God, no, and we just told him no. And then, Peter 2, of course, coming in and trying to stop it. And he does. And he's like, no, I want to. And he's like, no. And I found that moment to be so meaningful, that it was his Peter. Because he's the OG Peter. He went through the exact same thing. And it's like, he's, of course, and it's breaking his heart seeing Peter 1 in this situation. Mm-hmm. So it was like, oh my, like, that moment is like really telling. And then stupid Goblin coming in here and it stabs our Peter too.
Yeah, that was bad.
I was screaming.
I got scared. I was like, are they really about to kill off
the OG
Toby's Peter? I got very scared.
I was really scared. I was holding Amber and our friend who was with us. I was like, guys, and, like, just losing my mind because I was like, do not kill him. And then my friend was like, he's not going to do that. No. So I was like, but I'm like, I don't know, though. I don't know. Like, my emotions were fried. Okay. They were fried. I was at wit's end. This movie was a lot.
Yeah.
And, that did not help, but
and then after that, the hug with Peter 1, Peter 2, and Peter 3 coming together, that brought so much love and appreciation. I was like, thank you. This wrapped it up. And
I think all of the moments where it would be like a really huge moment that everyone would be screaming in the theater, like the scene where they all do their signature poses, mm-hmm. and that when they all fly, that I'm like, yes, it's iconic. I'm sorry, it's so lit. It's so lit.
Be a moment to remember out of MCU history, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we'll talk really quickly about the ending. Amber already kind of did.
Yeah.
The ending, of course, in order to fix the whole situation, send everyone back, they had to redo the spell. And with that, they had to completely forget Peter existed. So not alone was he, everyone forgot that he was Spider-Man. They all forgot who he was. Including Strange, including MJ and Ned. And that...
You know what I saw?
Broke my... Peter's goodbye to Ned and MJ, especially to MJ,
that's where the sparks the chemistry of the whole movie between Peter and MJ were off the charts. But, like...
Yes. I loved MJ in this film. I love Ned. But, like, MJ, I think this is the first film we really got to get to know her a lot more. Because I said, you know, we got to know her over the 3 films. But, like, this one, we really saw her more so. Like, her main thing, like, expect disappointment and you'll never be disappointed. That was something that was just huge to me. And it was just something that I just found really profound. And it's something I think a lot of people, when you're in situations in which a lot of things most of the time just don't go your way, you kind of have to feel that way. And I found that just meaningful. I don't know.
Yeah. And I don't know. I can't get the look out of my head with MJ when Peter walked out of the coffee shop that she worked at. Because it just seemed like she was about to remember. And she was like, huh. And then, like, it went to Peter visiting Aunt May's grave. And then Happy was like, how do you know her? And I was
God.
Like,
I was like, oh God.
God. Get out. Get out. The writers, what are you doing? They knew how to make us cry. That was probably the second time I started crying. No, the third time maybe. But that was sad. That was sad.
That was really sad. And that Ned didn't acknowledge him whatsoever.
Yes, that was sad. I thought he would at least be like, oh, hi, excuse me.
Right, like that was like really hard to watch. I was like, but
I
MJ,
like been
MJ, but MJ and Peter, they were like really talking, but like, and this is the thing that many Spidey fans have been ruining me with, and Amber keeps showing it to me, and I'm like, stop it!
What?
The fact that she has the Black Dahlia necklace, and she will never know who gave it to her.
Yeah.
Or realize who gave it to her.
And then, like, I don't know if that was what got also Peter emotional, is that he saw the necklace, or because there were a lot of moments where they were just looking at each other.
Right.
So I was like, is he looking at the necklace? Like, what is he thinking? What is going through his brain?
I don't think he was even paying attention to the necklace.
That's what I think, but I don't know, because they kept going back to her. So I was like, I don't know.
Right, but I'm just saying, like, I wasn't even paying attention to the necklace until after the fact.
I didn't notice it until you told me. And I was like, oh.
What?
About her necklace, because I didn't notice it the first time.
I didn't notice it the first time. I'm saying the second time is when I saw it a lot more.
Yeah.
Because I kept thinking of what people were saying. But yeah, it was really hard. But I feel like why the ending stayed with me so long is just the fact that he is so alone. He started with all the help in the world and no one knowing that he was Spider-Man in Homecoming, aside from the Avengers. Or no, only Tony knew. And Happy. Those are the only two that originally knew. And then you come to the end, you know, like right before everyone who knew, you know, most important people in his life, and then the most important person in his life passed away, or was killed by Goblin, and and then Ned and MJ, his besties, the two next most important people in his life, forgetting him, and then Happy even forgetting him. I think that's when I just lost it.
Yeah, and then the ending with him moving into the apartment, and then you see the little Lego thing that Peter and Ned used to have. And then you see him swinging off. And then his suit was so cool because it had Toby's spider emblem and then it had Andrew's spider emblem on the suit. And then you just saw him swinging and then that's how it ended.
Yeah, and I found that so... It was a good ending, but it's also like the most heartbreaking ending in any movie.
It was they definitely had more parallels with Tom and Toby Spider-Man, more so than Andrew's. But I don't know, I feel like you're going from the OG to the new version, and that's how they kind of like did the mirror, basically. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Funny moments, they had the meme.
Yeah.
They had the meme. That was the funniest part.
That was funny. Just the lizard was funny. Exactly.
And I was like, what are you doing?
And Electro's entrance when they kind of like got him calmed down. He's like, act like I ain't, but
Nigga. I was dead. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. So yeah, that was iconic. It was such a great movie. And we were way too long. This is way longer than
All right, let's give a rating out of 10.
Out of 10, I give it 11.
11. Same.
11.
11 out of 10 stars.
It was so good. And I always feel like, the first time I watch a movie, I always say that, but it's important to see it again because then you can really see if you truly mean that. And after watching, I was like, yes, this is best. Hands down, probably the best Marvel movie, at least MCU movie ever made. And it was ambitious, but they did it.
Yeah, they pulled it off.
Okay, we are finished now. I'm sorry, that took way too long.
Yeah.
I'm going to edit a lot of this out, trying to make it shorter if I can. Try to keep the most important things that we said together. And yeah, but we hope you have a wonderful
New Year.
Happy New Year. Yay, 2022. Amber's graduating. Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Turn
Yeah.
up. I'm turning 20. That's not fun.
I'm turning 18.
Okay. But anyway, yeah. So make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Don't give it a thumbs down. That's just rude. Also, subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And wear a mask. Get vaxxed.
Yes,
get
please.
boosted.
Please.
These cases all. Stop being extra. Social distance. Let's do it. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.